Okay guys, so the hip flexors, which are here, flex the hip, which means bring the knee up to the chest, like this. See, Crystal just used her hip flexor to lift her leg, and now she's going to lengthen her hip flexor, holding onto the weight of the leg until it lands again. Of course, when the leg is on the ground, it doesn't weigh anything, it's just resting. But if it's just off the floor, like that, the hip flexors are contracting, and they're trying to pull the back off the ground. And at the moment, there's a gap under here, and I can get my hand under it. What we're going to do is we're going to use the lower abdominals, and they're from the belly button down to below, and she's going to contract that to flatten the back, like this. See, I can't get my hand under anymore. That's not too difficult to do just now because the hip flexors are not operating. Now, Crystal, slowly bring one knee to the chest. Good, hip flexor is now holding a weight and lowering it back down. Stop just off the floor. At that point, it's the maximum weight because it's the maximum leverage. This muscle is trying to pull this off the ground. Therefore, the abdominals have to pull uphill and tilt the pelvis to keep the back still. Let's put that down. What we'd like you to do is to perform 10 alternate repetitions. From the bottom up, we go 10 on one side, well, 10 and then land, and then the other side, like that. We'd do 10 that way. Then we'd start working from the top down. So Crystal, bring your knees to the chest, hold there. It is important to remember that the back stays flat at this point. Imagine lifting the tailbone off the ground a bit. Again, that's to check that there's no gap under here. At the moment, the weight is fairly balanced over the hip. Slowly lower one leg down to the ground and back up. Again, as the leg approaches the floor, that's when the maximum effort is to keep the back flat. Second leg. Now, be mindful that you don't counterbalance yourself by bringing the other knee in as a counterbalance. Let's do that again, but don't hit my hand. See what I mean? Okay, so we can make that exercise harder as you get stronger by extending the leg, which means the leg's going to land further away, that's more weight, and back up. And again, through all of these, the lower abdominals are pulling uphill to prevent the back being pulled around by the hip flexor, which is holding the weight of the leg. Once you can go in straight lines from the bottom up for 10 and from the top down for 10, we start moving at diagonals from the top down. So she's going to move one leg on a diagonal angle, 45 degrees out. So now the abdominals have to pull diagonally this way to keep the lower back down, particularly on the opposite side of the back. So as she does this leg, she really has to pull with the stomach that way to keep the lower back flat and return to the top. Okay? Alrighty, thank you.